15 years ago, a masterpiece was released in the first week of November. On November 2nd, the B movie was released. Oh wait, that's not it. Get out of here. Another masterpiece was released 4 days later. Much better. On November 6th, LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga was released, and it was met with critical acclaim. A masterpiece that was released in a year of fantastic video games. LEGO Star Wars, though, is the one that stands out to me all these years later. A masterpiece from my childhood. A game so amazing, so perfect, that I have no problem calling it my favorite Star Wars game, and I've played most of them. And yes, when I say most of them, I've played Connect Star Wars. I've stared deep into the eyes of the beast. So 15 years later, I want to look back on this fantastic game and see why LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga is still a masterpiece 15 years later. For the uninitiated, LEGO Star Wars is a game in which you play through the original 6 Star Wars movies, except everything is LEGO. You should already be sold. But honestly, this game is in a truly awful genre. Most adaptations are awful when going from medium to medium. It's hard enough to transfer a book into a movie, but a good movie into a good video game? Oh no, those are never good. Those are mostly just products that you put on a shelf at a GameStop so parents lazily go in and go, I think my kid likes Fast and the Furious. One of those. Movie video games are never good. They are mostly just products that tie into those movies and try to lazily recreate the movies with no effort. But the best adaptations use the strengths of their medium to enhance the original content that they're basing it off of. And that's exactly what LEGO Star Wars does. Just like the original Star Wars movies, it is not content on just being an ordinary product. It goes out of its way to be something that stands out and to be something amazing. Let's start out with the levels. Each level in the game is an adaptation of a scene from the movies, except they aren't one-to-one translations. There are 6 levels per movie, and they are all about expanding these fantastic moments and scenes into these extravagant missions. Each level has a brand new setting most of the time that you get to play with, along with a bunch of different characters as well that you get to play as. Each level as well consists of exploration in the world, as you have to do combat and puzzle solving as well to progress to the end of the level. And lucky for us, the 2 main gameplay mechanics of combat and puzzle solving are fantastic. I know, you're probably wondering, how can the combat in this game be fantastic when it's such a simple and pretty basic game? First off, it flows great. Each hit you do with a lightsaber will chain into a different enemy. As a shooter, you move from shooting to punching guys seamlessly as you get into this flow. You feel like Lego John Wick as Han Solo punching and shooting your way through stormtroopers, and while the combat is shallow and slashy, it feels satisfying. One of the most crucial parts of video game combat is the visual representation of your combat progression. Most video games with combat elements usually just blow this off. It'll usually just be you shooting someone and they fall over. It's like, okay, whatever, that didn't feel satisfying at all. But some games do realize this, and that makes the combat feel more satisfying and more real. Whether that be chunks falling off monsters in Doom or a Mortal Kombat fatality, seeing an end result of your combat just makes it feel more engaging. And that is why it is so satisfying in this game for you to just be hitting guys with a lightsaber and then they just explode. I can't even explain it. It just feels incredible. Then you're able to force other stormtroopers and other stormtroopers with the force as you see them all fly back and crumble apart. It's just so satisfying. But the combat in this game wouldn't be half as satisfying without the sound effects. And the sound effects in this game are so iconic on their own, anyone in the world knows what this sound is. But the sound effects in this game enhance the combat so much. Action almost completely relies on sound and the way that it is implemented. Silence next to violence can make it horrifying and disturbing to watch. Or on the opposite end of the spectrum, you can have a shootout in a movie that matches the bullets to the beat of the music. And it almost feels like a dance with how satisfying everything is lined up at exactly the right time.
Music, sweet music.
And of the 2 options, LEGO Star Wars falls more into that second option, even though it doesn't stay away from the horrors of violence.
Yo! He dead!
Is this game rated E10 for horrific death and murder? The attacks feel so much more impactful when you hear the crumbling as well, accompanied by John Williams' fantastic score being played over on top. It truly has the action and moment feeling even bigger. It is just so satisfying, crushing and destroying LEGO stormtroopers. The Star Wars music plays over top and you're just destroying dudes. Why am I even explaining this? As simple as the combat is, you have to give it up for TT Games for translating the characters from Star Wars over so well. Each character just feels right. They all feel great and never clunky. And that's a thing that is still hard for Star Wars games to nail. Ever played Heroes vs. Villains in Star Wars Battlefront 2? Doesn't exactly make you feel amazing as you're beat up by 4 separate dudes. Each character you play in LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga falls into a different combat style, and along with that, each character in the game will have a unique role in solving puzzles throughout the missions. Each level is about progressing through the entire level by going through combat sections and puzzle sections. And just like the combat, the puzzles here are great. Puzzles will require platforming brainstorming and building certain solutions. Each level is a different set of characters and you have to use them all to find a way through, and you have to use all of their different skills to get past each part of the level. It makes you play as characters you never play as. I would never play Jar Jar or Captain Panaka, but I got to progress the level. In every level, every character matters. And when everything clicks together and you're moving your little team through the level and solving puzzles with all your characters, it's really fun. And these puzzles are fun to get through. They don't feel tacked on. They feel like fun, interactive parts of these levels. It makes the world feel more real and interactive instead of just set dressing that you're running through. Each puzzle interaction and combat scenario feels like it was placed for a reason, and the whole game feels like people who love Star Wars had the chance to make a Star Wars video game, and they wanted to make these moments as fun and interactive and as satisfying as they could be. And that leads us to the main reason this game is as masterful as it is: how it adapts Star Wars. Star Wars as a series isn't exactly known for its consistency. I mean, there are some movies here that aren't exactly known for being as amazing as others.
Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
He told me enough. He told me you killed him.
No, I am your father.
Aren't moving. I must need maintenance.
Even with the quality difference, the developers never phone in a single level. Each movie is treated with the same amount of respect when they're being adapted to the game. Moments that are terrible in the movies are completely removed from the game, and instead the game focuses on the best moments from each movie. They then take these good moments and turn them into these fantastic levels. All of the fluff was cut out and all the good moments were enhanced. It's one of the few times you'll see an adaptation actually be better. And then when it comes to the movies that are fantastic, they lovingly adapt and explore every moment that they can while building off what we didn't see. Wouldn't it be cool to see the rest of the white ship from the beginning of New Hope? Well, now there's a whole level dedicated to it. The Death Star is cool, but don't you wish you could play and see more of it? Well, now you can. The developers' love for the movie shines through in the level design, and it shines through even more in the cutscenes. Cutscenes in this game are fantastic, each being a hilarious readaptation of the movies. I know they couldn't beat the original performance, so instead they do mumble adaptations that are hilarious and just as amazing, if not better, than the scenes they're adapting. It makes the game stand on its own as its own thing while still being a loving homage to the movies it's based on. I would rather play through the game version of the prequels any day than sitting through the movies, because it feels like they improve on all of these movies as they remove the boring and straight up bad moments and instead take more time to focus on these incredible moments that can be fleshed out more. I love playing through the original trilogy as well due to how lovingly it was adapted, but playing through the entire game, it's not going to take you very long to beat. It only takes you about 1 to 2 hours to beat all 6 levels per movie, and with there only being 6 movies, it only takes you around 12 to 13 hours to probably beat the entire game. But I can guarantee there's no way you're going to instantly drop this game after beating it. You're going to want to go back in free play mode and play as new characters and unlock the secret rooms you couldn't access on your first playthrough. I've consistently been returning to replay this game because of how well it was crafted, how fun the combat is, how hilarious the scenes are, and just how fantastic the levels are. It never feels that a moment, a detail was wasted. It feels so expertly crafted that you are always returning to this game. This game is indefinitely replayable because there's always something to experience. Just like any fantastic movie or show, every time I return to this game, there's something new for me to rediscover or find out for the first time. In its short overall playtime, it is filled with love and care throughout. Every moment of the game, it feels like the developers are trying their absolute hardest to make this the best Star Wars game they could make. This was the first video game that I remember playing when I got a Wii as a kid. This was the game that made me fall in love with video games, and looking back at it 15 years later, I just have even more respect and admiration for this game as it truly nails everything that it is trying to do. Every moment, the game is showing how creative it can be, and if there's anything that the Star Wars movies are known for when they are at their best, it is creating a world and story that is so imaginative that you'll always return to it. And that's what LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga absolutely nails. Absolute imagination and a world that you'll always want to return to. It is completely its own thing while retaining the heart of what makes Star Wars so amazing in the first place. That's why it's my favorite Star Wars game, it's why it's my favorite LEGO game, and it's why it's just one of my favorite video games full stop. LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga is a masterpiece and is completely worthy of getting the score of a 10 out of 10. Anyways, I wanted to make this video for a while. I've loved Lego Star Wars, and I thought on the 15-year anniversary, not a better time to talk about this amazing game. And I wanted this video to come out on November 6th, Sunday, but I just wasn't able to get it out on time because if you couldn't tell by how I sound, I got sick. Real sick. I got COVID, sadly. I'm down. Get my reboot card if you find it. But sorry, boys, the video got delayed, so hopefully my voice doesn't sound too messed up than compared to my other videos, because I really love this video, and I just want to make sure it gets out. So anyways, hopefully this doesn't suck. If anyone complains about my voice in the comments, like, just say no, I'm sick, whatever, I don't care. Anyways, I got a lot of cool videos coming out. When those come out, I'll see you then. Bye.
Like a star, you can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City, my head's in the sky. I'm solo, I'm solo, I'm solo. So happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride.